What's what's going on, people? It's your man Isaac, aka Shuff, back with my man Weapon K, aka Kyrie, and we are the No Excuse Crew, represented for what we like to call the TNECast.
Yes,
Thank you to
sir.
everybody that tuned into the pilot episode. This is episode 2. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about nutrition, and on that tip is going to be talking about for bodybuilders versus people that are, we're just going to say, quote unquote, trying to be healthier. Then on that same token, on the next segment, we're going to be talking about weight training, the differences between weight training as a bodybuilder and then weight training as, again, somebody that's more lifestyle, trying to look a certain way. And then the last one, we're going to talk about why we do what we do and how that affects our personal life. So before we jump in, Kyrie, what you guys say?
Man, I'm excited for this episode, man. I'm excited, to share some knowledge. I know we're not like experts like Brian Schofield, but we do have that experience. We put in the work. We have the data, so I'm excited to share it with you guys.
And the beautiful thing about the way we do this show, our prep is just enough that we know what we're going to talk about. We want you guys to get the raw feelings of a true conversation of two people that know what they're talking about, are like-minded, but we want you to see some of the differences as well, because there's going to be some things that Kay says that you're going to be like, oh, I need to try that, and there's going to be some things that I say that you're going to say the same thing. So without further ado, we're going to roll into and talk about this nutrition topic. So I'm gonna lead this one off. So with nutrition, as a coach of athletes, and then as a coach of what we like to call our lifestyle people, and that's people that are just trying to be overall healthy, lose weight, things of that nature. The nutrition at the root is very similar. At the end of the day, the biggest difference between the two is the discipline that is required in order to get to a result. So, for example, we have a lifestyle client, they want to lose 30 pounds. While we do figure out certain time frames and everything like that, you don't have that same strict time frame that a bodybuilder does, because you have a show on X day. So there's really not a lot of wiggle room. So when we create a plan, that plan is to make sure you are peaking on that day. Whereas on lifestyle, we're more able to account for real life situations. For example, you have a big birthday party that you always go out to. When you're a bodybuilder, you can go, but you better bring your meal with you.
Yep.
You
Yep.
can't really make those. You can't really have the cake and all those different things. But then, as a lifestyle person, we can plan around it, and we can say, "Oh, okay, you can do this or you can do that," and then you just say, "Well, we may this week may be maybe a loss, or excuse me, may not be a loss, things of that nature." So as we yeah, so with these life events, we want to make sure at the end of the day that we're either gonna I'll say it like this: in a lot of cases, it's about just making sure that we know, hey, we might be zero out this week. That's usually what I say for my clients. I'm like, hey, look, let's just chalk this week up to our goal be no gain, no loss. Let's just mitigate and stay right where we need to be. But that's when I would say, then I'm gonna toss it over to Kay, see what he thinks. I would say the biggest difference is there's discipline on both sides, but the discipline and sacrifice required to be a bodybuilder, that you have to dig much deeper.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what do you think, Kay?
I can definitely give you the bodybuilder side and saying like it's by any means, regardless of how you feel, what event you're trying to go to. I remember like for my going away party in Japan, I couldn't even eat the food there. You know what I mean? We went to a restaurant. I packed my own food for it. Um, but yeah, I tried coaching before, and I wasn't a fan of coaching lifestyle just because of the discipline, right? It was different. They weren't going for their legacy. They just wanted to lose a few pounds, so they weren't emotionally invested. They didn't have a finish line to attack. So it was just kind of just like, well, when is it going to stop? So, but yeah, I agree. They have a lot more leg room to kind of like shift meals around, week by week, because this is a life thing now. This isn't just like a 16-week thing and then you get fat again for the rest of the year. But yeah, like most definitely. this is something that I struggled with. So like, whenever calories got low in my first prep, second prep was easy. I was trying to find anything and everything that had 0 calories to munch on because your boy was hungry. And I found sugar free Jello or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
helps. I was like eating like 6 boxes a day. My gut was destroyed. So what do you have? What diet tips do you tell your lifestyle clients or your competition clients?
So it's funny how a lot of things I say are so similar. I say number one, embrace the hunger.
Mm,
So because especially for what we do, we know when you're suffering, when you're hungry, that's how you know it's working.
yeah.
If your belly feels full and you're like, hey, I'm all, then you ate way too much and you did something wrong. But the funny thing is, it's the same thing on the lifestyle side, especially when they're on that, I like to call them the slide on the way down to their goal. So that's the first thing I said. I mean, don't try to always try to do not try to address the hunger. That's just become friends with it.
Mm,
But now you bring up a good point about trying to find 0 calorie things. My thing is really make sure that you're eating filling things. So that's where the green vegetables come in. Eat because like if you eat a lot of spinach and you eat a lot of lettuce and you're getting a lot of fiber, one, you're going to go to the bathroom, so that's going to help you look leaner.
mm-hmm.
And then number two, it's going to keep you filled up longer. Because a lot of times, excuse me, people, will go to grab on the lifestyle side, they'll go to grab one of those little 100 calorie packs.
What
Those
are
do
those?
nothing. So like it'll be like 100 calorie pack of pretzels or Teddy Grahams,
Oh,
any of
gotcha.
those things. They'll
Yeah.
grab one of those because 100 calories, no big deal.
Mm,
But then you eat one, and all you do is you feel more hungry. You're like, oh well, I have another one, and all of a sudden you don't have the whole box.
mm-hmm.
Because it's not doing anything. So I like my diet. So my two big diet tips are so with green vegetables, they're so low in calorie content it's almost impossible. I say almost impossible to overeat on them. So if
Mm,
you have a lot of them, that's going to help you feel full and it's going to kind of help keep the hunger down. And then the other thing is something that we were talking about, before we came on the air, is find things that taste good or find a way to spice something up so it
mm.
tricks your mind. So we were talking about some of the seasoning, so we were going
Yeah,
back and
yeah.
forth. He's making fun of me for eating ketchup on my eggs, but
Dude, like seriously, who if you do that, like find like Kyrie Cooper on Instagram, go in and send me a DM so I can block you. All right, weirdos.
so so find little different ways. Like so, for example, if you have a sweet tooth, egg whites are a great source of protein and pretty low calorie. But guess what? By themselves, if you just cook, if you have a non-stick pan, you cook it in nothing by themselves, they really don't have a taste. So now, if you find a 0 calorie seasoning or something like that, or a 0 calorie syrup, like so, what I was doing my last prep, I would make it more like a dessert. So I make my egg whites, put some buttery cinnamon flavor god, put some sugar-free syrup on it.
Okay.
Bam. And
Huh.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
That's there you go. There goes the little prep secret right there.
Swear to
And
God.
that and it tastes good because people forget egg whites by themselves really don't have a taste.
Not at all. Not at all.
If you like eat it like straight plain, so what you season it with is what it's gonna taste like.
Mm,
That's why I love egg white so much. That's why on both sides of the house, so people are listening when I say that it's competition side and our lifestyle side. So on both sides of the house, egg whites are a staple because it's
mm,
high protein, low calorie, hard to beat.
yeah. And plus, like the macronutrients, it's an egg. You know what I mean? Especially if you
Mm-hmm.
get like the natural egg and just take out the egg yolk. It's a natural egg, man.
Yep.
Natural. So
So
let's go straight into weight training.
okay.
What's your training style? Because my training style varies. Like I might watch a Keon Pearson video and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna train just like him. Or Joe Bennett, the hypertrophy coach,
Mm-hmm.
watch just like train just like that. So lately, I know for leg days, I've been doing 20s on everything. and been walking like Bambi outside the gym. But what are you training like this time of year?
So for me, form over everything. That's not just
Yep.
to sell a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give you my training philosophy. Something. So before I became a bodybuilder, I was still an athlete. So really, all I knew was pick heavy shit up and do it as many times as you can, with slight modification kind of stuff. So as I became a coach and a trainer and all these different things, I started to learn more. So some of our lifestyle people may not know these two people are bodybuilders. They will know them in a second. Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman. I watched a Jay Cutler interview, and he was giving Ronnie Coleman his props, which they both always do. And he was talking about how Ronnie, which we all know he's legendary for the fact of him squatting 800 solid ass pounds and all the heavy weight that he lifted.
That was a dog.
Yeah. Wait. So then you had Jay Cutler. Not saying he wasn't strong, because you don't get that big and not be strong. But he said, I concentrated more on the form. He said I could curl that 100 pound, but I'd rather take a 25 that I have more control over and make that feel like 100. And that really spoke to me, because I see how Ronnie is now, unfortunately, and I know his training caused that. Mm-hmm. And it was intense, and he made the sacrifice to become arguably the best ever. So I said to myself, I'm like, well, I preach healthy lifestyle. I'm a lifestyle coach, just like I'm a competition coach. Natural. So I said to myself, I was like, form over everything. So now my training style, I like to call it art. So it's science back, but it's art, because I am hyper focused on making sure that I get as much time under tension and as much muscle engagement in every single move. Now, the dope thing is, and because it was actually funny, because I looked at your, I was just on your Instagram, and I looked at your back poses from the two, and it's still amazing, because the taper was pretty much the same, but the detail in your back, it was just stupid. It still messes me up, because you look good at Untamed. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, and I'm just like, it's the good mess up. See, some of these people don't understand. It's like, I was just like, damn, like because you did. So in bodybuilding, guys, we have room to improve always, but until you do that side by side, because if you would have asked me before, I would have said Kyrie, he got better, but I did not realize how much better. And thankfully, I can say the same thing for myself, because I was looking at my back poses. I was like, Jesus, this is different. So what happens is, as you get better and as you get more in tune with your body, you can become even more of an artist. Mm-hmm. So when I'm lifting now, things that I used to not be able to engage, and I'm even talking about last year, I can engage now. And I'm seeing these differences. So that's why I call it art. So outside of the art, I like to do volume. And part of that is because I train at home. So I think on the band, like right now, I can get like 360, I believe. So I'm not really I don't have a whole bunch of weight that I can use. So without having a lot of weight, what's the next way that you make up for with volume? And always high intensity. And everybody's version of high intensity is a little bit different, but it's always high, very intense. And sometimes the intensity is just the mindset.
Yeah.
You're going to do like, for example, if you're only going to do like 5 reps, but you're going to do each rep is going to be 15 seconds. Yeah. That's like some like that's, and so that's why I would say, kind of like my style is. And then before I pass it back to Kyrie, he mentioned something. So I watch on Instagram some of the guys, the Raymonts, the Andres. I watch some of the things that they do. Mm-hmm. And I try to implement them for myself, not to look like them, but just to see how it will work for me. So I've learned a lot doing that. So I will say, guys and gals out there, when you do watch these high level people that are at the top of the sport on the IBB side, be very mindful of everything that they are doing to achieve that look. The exercise is cool. You're going to learn a lot. But don't get discouraged that because for 2 weeks you did that exercise and you don't look like that person.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
That's huge. Yeah.
because I have a lot of people I've had to tell them, don't look at that stuff, because they're like, well, why don't I look like this yet? And I'm like, go shoot them a DM and find out what they're what they're doing.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, I know, like me starting lifting and looking at the Rays, the Ronnie Coleman's, the Jay Cutlers, and all of them, and I was like, yeah, I can do that. No problem. Sad reality, not yet. But back to the training style. I actually learned something very important. I think it was last week. I was watching Fuad Abiad's Bodybuilding Bullocks podcast. He had Brian Schofield on there, and Brian Schofield basically like studies hypertrophy and everything and good stuff. And he was like, it doesn't matter if you do 25 reps, 5 reps, 12 reps, as long as you're reaching failure, that's going to trigger the muscle growth. So with that, that's why I started doing 20s. That's why, I don't even count reps anymore. You just go, and then when you can't do anymore, 5 more, right? And then I also incorporate a lot of drop sets, like a lot. Jesus Christ, I feel like I'm doing like easy, probably like 12 drop sets a day, and that's 3 drop sets to a drop set. So. But yeah, it's all about the intensity, all about failure, and seeing how far you actually going to take it. Because that's going to separate the good from the great to the unstoppable. Because everybody at the top got great genetics. It's just how far are you going to push it? How far are you going to push it? And whenever you get to that wall, you have to figure out your why. Like, why am I doing a drop set on squat going from 315 to 135? Like, that don't make no sense. Ain't make no sense, So what's your why whenever you go through your training routines and everything?
Well, my overall driving factor, it goes back to what started to get me back on my fitness level, and it's really, I looked in the mirror one day, had titties, had stuff hanging all over the place, and I was like, never going back to this. And I always tell people, especially on the lifestyle side, I was like, you need to find a why that's going to drive you through the dark times. So every time it's still, and look, I'm a professional now, all these different things, accolades and all this shit, that stuff still to this day. Now I'm not going to be corny, like, oh, every day. No, not every day. But, days when it's getting tough, I always think back to that. Like, man, remember why you started. Why I do it now, this is, I think, one of the things that make us the most similar. It's about legacy.
Yeah.
Like when they say my name, I want my name to be mentioned among greats. I want them to say, like, for example, when I did the 2 shows in one day, not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah.
So I did one of those, little things, doing like, just a lot of it just about the legacy and, and just really wanting to be the best. And then I realized last year that I had the ability to.
Yeah, that's powerful.
So I was a little bit nervous. Like, man, I know I can be really good. Like, I knew that. But I was like, yo, I really can be the best. And that really, like, because the people, I mean, I'm talking with one of the best right now. But when we the circles that we start to move in, and you're talking to other people that are at top level of and for me, I'm talking about on the natural side, then they're like, not when I say fearful, I'm talking about they're watching you and knowing you're on your, ascension to come get them. I'm a little bit older. So there's some titles I'm trying to win before I cross over 40. Because that's when I leave it to the Kyries, the Darius, and the other people that we have on the squad to to handle that business, and I'll stick to the old man stuff. But that really drives me. Like I know we like to joke around and have our fun, but it really, really drives me, because like when I'm working out, or it's sometimes I'm sitting on the couch, and right now, look, my gym is 10 steps away. But I'm a busy ass dude and I'm doing all these different things. I'm just sitting there on the couch and I'm like, I don't need to, have not doubts. I'm like, man, I don't need to do that. And then I just sit there and think about it. I'm like, one of Kyrie and I, one of our brothers, Pete. I know Pete's working. I think about Pete.
Yep.
I think about just people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're working. They're not sitting down. I got to work,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's. But like, and then I'm gonna throw it back to you. But like you said, when that realization, that self belief, that holy, I'm right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of power, and that gives you that why. I'm like, so people ask me, why are you doing 2 shows in one day? I was like, I want to be remembered. I want to leave a legacy behind. Because now somebody to top me, somebody got to try to do 3 shows in one day.
Mm-hmm.
You can equal me, but you can't top me.
Never.
And,
So you are the ceiling. Yeah.
so it's pretty dope. So what's your driving force?
So I'm gonna give you guys. I call this in my household a Cooper nugget. Right, it's a little nugget of wisdom, real quick, from a 24-year-old, and that is, I actually have a list in my notebook of whys. So it's called ammo, right? So whenever I don't feel like going to the gym, whenever I don't feel like eating the meal, I have all these bullet points on why I should. You know what I mean? Hey, you have to set the example for your nephew. Hey, you have to punch these people who said you will never be anything and they leave you in your life. So you're going to have to prove them wrong. You know what I mean? Some of it is like real dark stuff, but it doesn't always have to be dark. It can be positive. I want to leave a legacy. I want to be the greatest of all time. So you guys can steal that from me. Hey, coming straight from the Cooper household, a little Cooper nugget for y'all. But going to the very beginning, I believe I was in tech school or Japan, and I saw an interview with Tom Platz, and Tom Platz said, like, coming soon, there's going to be a new physique that's just going to blow people away. And it's going to be the new standard. Because it was talking about how bodybuilding kind of, took a turn for the worse and mass monsters, whatever. I don't really care. And just something told me, he was like, hey, man, he's talking about you. You are that guy. And this is going back when I was looking like a little stream bean, in the gym, my tight medium shirt and everything, trying to be big. But I just knew without a shadow of a doubt that I'm going to step into the game and I'm going to just knock the world straight off its axis, And now I have some extra motivation because I was watching the video from the overall when they were announcing the winner. And everyone but one person started clapping. And he kind of looked at me like, oh, word? Like, this guy won? And I watched that every single day. Every day before a workout. I want that reminder. I want competitor 157 to know I'm coming. And it was like, oh, you thought this was a fluke? You don't know who I am. So now it's no longer like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna get my pro card. Nah, dog. It's about the hunt. I'm gonna find you. You can win that pro card, brother. But you ain't never, ever gonna touch what I got. Ever. So, and I got that from The Last Dance, from Mike and Kobe. Just taking things personally and forcing it into productive action. That's the most important thing with the why. You have to have a why. You have to have a why. It's stupid important.
All right. And what I like about what you said about your why, you have them on both sides. You have the dark, negative, however you want to word it, and then you have, the positive ones. Because especially in what we do, you have to dig deep a lot of times.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to go to it. Like, I'm just going to be real. Those of us that have been successful in the sport, you have to go to some dark places. You just do. Because one of the things that I tell everybody that, joins up with us, especially if it's their first time, like you're going to go backstage and you're going to be able to point to say, that person died, that person suffered. You can tell. You can just tell who did and who didn't. And most of those people, you had that shared sacrifice because at one point or another, you had to go to a dark place. We're at the point where we've done prep before, so a lot of this stuff is old hat to us now. Mm-hmm. But you're 6 weeks in, 6 weeks to go. You're tired, you're hungry, you're questioning, why the hell am I doing this again? All these different things. And don't get me wrong, leaving a legacy sometimes will get you going, but sometimes that's not enough. You're like, well, then you remember that person. You remember how 157 looked at you.
Mm-hmm.
That lights that fire. That's gonna make you mad. You know, I go to a lot of dark places. You know, think about stuff from things that I've dealt with. You know, things that I've heard. You know, even now more so in bodybuilding. You know, a lot of people, there's a lot of phoniness in this sport. So a lot of people that turned on me and
Yeah.
things like that, like they don't understand how much that drives me. I'm so happy that they did it because when you blow right past them and you just kind of give them that look, I'm a track star. I go, whoop, you know, it feels good, and and Kyrie, I'll ask you this after I kind of answer it, you know, because people will ask me, like, how do you transition when you go to that dark place? How do you not stay there? And it's all about understanding that it's fuel. If Kyrie calls it ammo, I call it fuel. And it's my fuel. So I burn it up and I keep going. I don't dwell on it. You know, it's kind of like for us, we have to either constantly empty the tank or constantly redline, however you want to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically we use it. It's just like with the ammo. Not saying he can't reload it, but he uses it. I hope I'm not taking your thunder on.
Nah, you got it, dog. You got it. Yeah, you can explain it better.
But but you can always reload it. So don't sit there and think, just because you went to the well of, like, for me, thinking about the people that did me wrong. They did me wrong. That thing will never go away. So I can always think back to, and then there it is. I'm mad again, and I'm ready to go. So how do you transition? How do you handle the good and the bad of it?
My wife. You come home to something familiar, something to remind you, like, hey, stop being on edge. I had a blessing of doing prep overseas during a deployment because I never had to come out. I never had to come out, and I want to say it was always dark, and I was just like, ugh, but like, always just like be business. Like, there ain't no funny business over here. Like, I'm coming to hunt. You know what I mean? And like taking that to work and having your troops look at that and be like, dog, I want to be like that. Going to the gym, I ain't talking. I'm looking at the floor, hoodie up, chilling, headband. I'm looking at the floor and be like, yo, I want to be like that. But stateside, I have to come back to reality. I have to, come back home to your family because, like, your dark side has no room at the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
No room at the dinner table. Who said that? Tim S. Grover in the book Relentless. Your dark side has no room at the dinner table. Leave it at the door. You see what I'm saying? So you have to find something to kind of bring you down to earth. Whether it's like the music you listen to some smooth jazz, some R&B, some early 2000s R&B, some neo. You know what I mean? Kind of bring you back to who you truly are. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's my strategies and tactics on coming back to earth.
Good. So we're going to wrap this episode. So we hope that, one, you took something away from each segment. Because the way we do this, it's not so much about giving you something that you need to write down. It's about provoking thought.
Yeah.
You notice how in nutrition we didn't say eat this or don't eat that or any of that nonsense. Weight training, notice how we didn't say you need to train this way or train that way. Notice how in the why we talked about our experience. So the one thing that we want to do with the TNECast, we want to provoke thought for you guys.
Yeah.
Then we want you guys to come back with feedback for us, so that way we know what to kind of bring to the table, for you. So again, we're gonna keep doing these, and I want to definitely say thank you again for everybody that tapped in with the pilot episode. The feedback was amazing on that. So we're gonna keep churning these out weekly. Through preps, so there's gonna be a lot of stuff that you're gonna get to see the ups and downs, and and everything like that. So Kyrie, what do you want to say before we bounce out?
Video is coming soon. I saw some comments about having the video with audio. I love the idea. I'm gonna work on that. Another thing, The one thing I told Isaac before we even started this was we had to be 1000% authentic. So expect that from now on. Like, yo, we gonna be real. It might get nasty. We might start cursing, So if it ain't your cup of tea, I ain't editing so you can have a clean version, dog. You have to see past that and get the deeper message to every podcast. And like he said, we're provoking thought. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not your coach. He's not your coach. I mean, if he is your coach, I mean, you better listen to him because coach be knowing. but we're just here to be like, hey, have you ever thought about this? Let's open your mind. Let's open your mind. So that's all I got. Follow us on social media at the No Excuse Crew, at Kyrie Cooper. What's your social? Is at Nip Shuff Av.
Underscore
XX0069.
Hey, look, that's the page. That was my next episode. That's what we'll talk about. Well, I'll talk about why I chose that name. That's a good.
I think I know a little bit of it. That's it for me, big dog. That's it for me. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend or your week because it's releasing on Tuesday. Thanks for subscribing to TNE on demand. If you're subscribed to that, if not, what is wrong with you? Fix your face.
All right? Get on it. Get on it.
But yeah, that's it for me, Isaac.
All right, so we're gonna sign out. And this last thing I was gonna say, please, because right now we're working on where we're getting these out to. So right now it is on our YouTube, the pilot episode. We'll probably put this episode up there as well until we start really moving it around. Please give us the feedback. If you if you want to say something constructive, I don't care if you say it public or you want to say it to one of us, let us know. We want to make this. This is for the people. Thought provoking. Let's talk. Let's have some fun. And I apologize for my all of a sudden lisp because I have a cracked tooth. Oof. And it's pointing into my. It's annoying. So it's painful to talk. But what we do, we play through the pain, baby. We here. So we're going to sign off. We will see you guys next week.